திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஆடும் பரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய், தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனியானை சகோதரன். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பூடியர் கொண்டு பிடித்த பொலியோன் கடல் போற்றி, ஆழிமிசை கல்மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி, வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன்தொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி, ஊழிமலி திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரையந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் பொன்னுரு ஆனாய் போற்றி, பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணே போற்றி, சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி, அண்ணாமலையமண்ணா போற்றி, கண்ணாரமுதக் கடலே போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பெருங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் தி ஹோலி டெய்டீஸ் ஆஃப் சைவம் என்கிற தலைப்பில் ஆங்கில தொடராக நம்முடைய சைவ மூர்த்தங்களை பற்றி தொடர்ந்து கத்தார் நம்முடைய அன்பர்கள் மிஸ்ஸஸ் அண்ட் மிஸ்டர் சரவணன் அவர்களுடைய நல்ல ஆதரவில் தொடர்ந்து நிகழ்த்தி வருகின்ற பாங்கிலே இன்றைய தினம் சிவமூர்த்தங்களிலே ஒன்றாக விளங்கக்கூடிய பைரவர் பற்றி நாம் சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கு. In the last few sessions we have been discussing about Lord Nadaraja, and prior to that we discussed about Lord Dakshinamurti. The basic concepts that we have to understand out of these deities were discussed. We have been elaborately thinking the basic idea of such a deity and what do Saivam indicate, or what does it indicate as a matter of fact, what are all the principles preached, what are all the things to be understood out of these have been elaborately discussed. Lord Nadaraja, Lord Dakshinamurti, these are all the various forms of Lord Siva. Agama Murtangal, about 24 in Agamas, it will be discussing about these deities. Unless otherwise it is specified in Agamam, we are not supposed to install or pray deities. Those are the approved deities or approved forms of Lord Siva, which can be worshipped, which can be offered prayers, that we have to follow the rules. Saivam has some basic rules and principles to be followed. So, Lord Dakshinamurti, Lord Nadaraja, they are all different forms of Lord Siva, where Lord Siva doesn't have a specific form. Only for gracing the devotees, he is coming down in the form. Out of formless state, he takes the form to convince, to grace, to uplift, to liberate the souls from the miseries. So, the deities should be thought of a bridge between the soul and the Lord. Once we cross the bridge, we need not worry about the bridge, since we have reached the destination. And we are going to be there forever. We need not worry about the deities. Deities are only bridges. The forms are only bridges that we cross across. It is useful to cross over. Once we reach the Lord, it may not be required at all. So, from the state of form to a formless state, we must be elevated. We must actually, matter of fact, we must elevate our way of offering prayers, our way of worshipping. It has to be elevated from the form state to formless state. Then from the formless state, then you have to go to the natural state. Either it is formless or formless form or form. They are all tadatta rupam. Tadatta means artificial, unnatural. But whereas Swarupam is natural, the final state of the amalgamation or union, even though we specify, we say it is union, it is not a union at all, because we are already united with the Lordship. Unless otherwise the unity is there, we cannot operate, we cannot function, we cannot move, we cannot make the mobility is not at all possible in this world, unless otherwise you are fed by the Lordship. You understand? Because by nature, soul doesn't have any power within itself. It doesn't possess any power to move or to function like that. It doesn't have anything. So it is having a wisdom which has been masked by the Adavam, and the process is to remove the mask and make the soul to get united permanently with Lordship. So if we start feeling the unity of Lordships, then we have come close to Him. You understand? So please understand that the way of praying with form, the way of offering the prayers to a form, the way of offering our gratitude to the Lordship in a form, it all means that we are crossing a stage. Once we cross the stage, the forms are not at all required. It is the principle of Saivam. Don't think that permanently, forever, that we have to worship Lord in the form of a deity. Muhurtham. The exact meaning of deity is Muhurtham. Inside there is Murti, Murtiman. So, only for initial stages to start with, to get enough maturity, we are offering our prayers to a form. It is not a permanent arrangement. Don't think that we have to pray Lord only in form, in a deity. You must come to a stage where you can offer prayers, you can think about Him, you can pray, you can make your prayers to His formless state. Okay, but all the forms, those are specified in Agamams, they have some they have some what do we call that? The form indicates some concepts. The form indicates the basic idea or the basic concept in Saivam. For example, Dakshinamurti indicates the potential energy. Lord Nataraja indicates the kinetic energy. So he is static, he is dynamic. He is in static state, he is in dynamic state. He is immobile, he is mobile. He moves around, he is in one and only place, under the banyan tree. Okay, now let us come to the principle of deity worship in temples, either in temples or in home. We make prayers to a form of Lord Shiva, and some of the forms are meaningful, and we must understand the basic concept in that, and we must be benefited by knowing and realizing the concept. You understand? Now, the another form which is very, very important in Saivam, and one of the forms of Lord Shiva is Bhairavar. Bhairavar, as I have already put it, is an important deity in a temple. Most of us would not have noticed, but some people would have taken notice of this idol or statue installed in a place where we cannot miss him. Some people deliberately go over there and offer prayers in search of Bhairavar. Bhairavar is called the god of time. Kala Bhairavar. He is called as Kala Bhairavar. He is in charge of time. It is a very, very, very nice concept that has been derived out of this statue. We must understand. Only basing on the concept, the form has been given. See, nobody can give a form as they like for Lord Shiva. Some of the paintings, if you notice, they are very painful. They don't follow the rules. They just draw Lord Shiva as they like. Which should be avoided. Some people, in some paintings, we can see Lord Shiva bluish. No, he is not at all bluish. He is like setting sun's rays or rising sun's rays. Andivannar is called. Such a reddish skin is having, the whole form radiating like anything, like a sun, like thousands of suns. So he cannot be painted in bluish form. Only a small speck or small spot can be shown in the throat to indicate that he swallowed the poison taken out of the milk ocean. When the demons and devas were churning the milk ocean, it came out of the ocean. That was swallowed by Lord Shiva to protect all the souls. So that swallowed poison stuck to his throat and it created the dark spot there. That we know the story behind it. Anyway, so why I am insisting is we need not, or we should not, rather we should not have such paintings in our prayer hall. You understand? We must install only statues with the right form. The right form. Bhairavar means how does he look like? There are prescriptions, there are details. So those details, either your painting or your idol or your statue should conform to the requirements, to the specifications. Then only you are allowed to offer prayers or you are allowed to keep it in the temple. Understand? So Bhairavar, as a matter of fact, Bhairavar is an important form of Lord Shiva, and he is installed in the temple. He is the most important deity in the temple. The concept of this form, why Lord Shiva took this form? He only took this form. Why he took this form? It has been described in myths, in Puranams, like this. Once upon a time, the god of creation and the god of protection, Biraman and Thirumal, the god of creation, the god of protection, they are named Thirumal, Biraman, they are named. They are interested with the duties of creation and protection, and after some time they may get promoted or they may be removed from the service. The post is not permanent for these souls. Thirumal means some soul with a good dignity will be interested with this post. Biraman is also like that. So souls in those posts, they execute their duties for certain period only. After that period, they cease to be Thirumal and Brahman. New souls will be appointed there. You understand? Nuru Kodi Piramar Nunginar, Aru Kodi Narayanar Angane. Upper says like this: for a ratio of 100 Brahmas, there will be 6 Tirumals. The time frame you have to just calculate. By the time 100 Brahmas have been replaced, 6 Tirumals would have been replaced. So likewise the time frame you must understand. Yer Gangai Ennil, Yer Gangai Manal Ennil, Ennil Indiran, Ennil Indiran, countless Indras. If you start counting the sand, you start counting the sand particles, is it possible to count them? Suppose if it is made possible, you start counting the sand particles in an ocean, you may end up with crores and crores. Likewise, the Indrans are there, innumerable Indrans were there, are going to be there. You understand? Okay. Now, what I am trying to say is, the Puranam goes like this. This once upon a time, one Thirumal and the corresponding Brahman, they were they were present in a meeting of Devar. These heavenly people were asking, which one of you is the captain? One is creating, another one is protecting, but somebody should be heading. Who leads among you? That's the question they put forth. People will create problems when the people are peaceful. When the people are peaceful, some external people will come and plant some seed for trouble. So the trouble started. The thing is, the seed immediately grew into a tree. A big quarrel was there. Who is bigger? Both of them are big, but who is bigger? That is the question. So they started quarreling, and at that time Lord Shiva appeared before them in the form of a flame and told them, whoever sees my feet or whoever sees my top or head, only they lead. They are the leader. They are the captain. Only that person, that particular person is the captain. That particular person is superior to the other. That's how he said. So the arrangement was agreed upon, and Thirumal started trying to see the feet of the flame, where the Lord Brahma tried to see the head. Of course, we know the result. Some or other, Thirumal realized that it is impossible. It's not at all possible to his feet because it is endless. So better accept our failure. So he came out and surrendered before Lord Shiva and told, I am not the leader. Somebody is there to lead me. I have understood. Kindly pardon me, Lord Shiva, he summoned. So he was forgiven. But Brahma didn't agree that he went on going up. And he didn't realize that it was impossible for him. But some or other he was giving some sort of witnesses saying that he had seen the top of the Lord Shiva. At that time Lord Shiva appeared before him. How can you claim that you had seen my head? That at that time Brahma called him, oh my son, come here. Likewise, because Brahma at that time he was having 5 heads. So since Lord Shiva is also having 5 heads, he called him as his son. I only created everybody, so my son he called. But Brahma was ignorant to know that Lord Shiva, even though 5 heads are being seen, the 6th one cannot be seen, called Adho Muham. He didn't know that, and he was ignorant of that. Only out of his ego and ignorance, he called Lord Shiva as his son. So at that time, Lord Shiva took the form of Bhairavar. That form is the one that we are seeing on the screen. He took the form of the Bhairavar, went on to him, and to curtail his ego, to bring down his egoism, he just plucked the 5th head that was looking at the northeast side. So it was just taken out, and Lord Shiva told, hereafter you will be known only as non-Muhan. That means only with the 4 faces. The 5th one was removed. And Thirumal also told him, If you are the creator, why don't you create your fifth head? It was impossible. Then know yourself that you are not the ultimate. Somebody is our leader. That's how Thirumal also preached non-Muhan. So Bhairavar concept only came out like this, and this Bhairavar, he has taken charge of the time. God has given him the in charge of time and also control of accounts of the temples. If you see in temples, the account details are submitted only to Bhairavar. See, everybody should know that any transaction going on in the temple is closely monitored by Lord Bhairava. Some of the EOs don't know that fact. They are not aware of the fact. Some of the people concerned about the temple regulation, temple management, they also don't know that all accounts are supervised, audited, seen, scrutinized by Lord Bhairava. That they must understand. If you see in some temples, and at the end of the day, at the end of the everyday activities, the key of the temple will be taken to the feet of the Lord Bhairava and would be submitted there. So all accounts are also submitted to his lotus feet. They must understand that whatever we do, it is overviewed and it is scrutinized, it is audited by him, and we must be very careful in tackling the transactions. Even a single paisa should be accounted. We should not think that the money that is put into the hundial is not counted. It is counted by Bhairava. Bhairava knows the total amount collected in the hundi. So we must be very, very careful, and the punishment given by the Lord Bhairava will be very, very severe. Very, very severe. I will explain the punishment details later, but before that, if you just see the form of Bhairavar, he is always having a dog. It is called a watchdog. It will watch over. Even now, police people, you understand, they have their dogs for sniffing, is it not? And to find out the culprit, they only have dogs. But just think of Lord Bhairava, ages together, before ages, Lord Bhairava or Lord Siva possess the watchdog that will go and catch the thief, that will go and catch the people who are doing mischiefs in the temple. You understand? Okay, now look at the form. I have explained about the watchdog. He is always having as his vehicle the dog, and in his hands, two sets of hands. Show another figure. This one, the left hand is not proper. Yes, in his two sets of hands, in one, in the right hand, he is holding the Sulam. The Sulam, Trisulam, is holding that in his right hand. Corresponding left hand is having the Kabalam, or the vessel for taking alms from the people. Alms, that is called a Pichai Patram, a vessel for taking alms. As a matter of fact, when Bhairavar went to this Brahma to make him understand that Lord Shiva is the ultimate Padi, that is the Lord, unequable, uncomparable, the only Lord Shiva. So Brahma was taught that lesson. So that fifth head that was plucked out of his head, that the fifth head, he was using as a vessel for alms. So he started filling the vessel with the blood of the people who are possessing the ego. So to remove the ego, to remove the ignorance of Anavam, he takes the alms in the vessel he is holding in his left hand. As a matter of fact, when Bhairava was dealing Lord this Brahma, when he was dealing with him, slowly and unnoticeably Thirumal escaped to Vaikutham. He just, because he understood that situation is not favorable, let us not be here. He realized and he went to his original place, Vaikutham. Then Bhairava was ordered by Lord Shiva that you collect the blood of the people who are having egoism, the ignorance out of them. So drain out the blood so that the ego will be, that's how it happens here also. Once you are filled with heart and new blood, you will say, where is God? I am the only person who is moving. I am standing on my own legs. People will be climbing as if others are standing on higher legs. People will be saying, but once their blood slowly getting cooler, the warm blood is becoming cold slowly, they will understand that it is not with them everything. They have to depend on the Almighty. They will understand. They will start understanding it. So what the people will do, once they get sick, their blood circulation will be affected. And the people will understand that the power they have lost, it is not a permanent one that has been vested with them. It was only lent. So whatever power we are having, it is only a lent and it has to be continuously regenerated. Unless otherwise it is not a permanent power within ourselves. It has to be renewed from time to time. Unless otherwise it is being renewed, you cannot survive. The whole body cannot survive. How the renewal is going on? People don't understand. By taking food, they think that it is renewed. When you are sick, can you take the food? The first thing to be stopped is only the food. Is it not? If you climb, that food is the only thing that is supplying the energy, then take food every time you want. Is it possible? No, not at all. Something else. People don't understand. They have misconceptions. So, okay. Now, when he went over to the places, all the heavenly people were running here and there on seeing Bhairavar, and Bhairavar collected blood, and the vessel didn't get filled up at all. Even he collected the blood from Thirumal. Upon the request of Goddess Lakshmi, he had forgiven Lord Narayana, Lord Thirumal, and he just left over. So that is why he is holding the vessel in his left palm. In his left palm, he is holding a vessel to suck out the blood of the people with anavam, ego, I and my. All those feelings, people with these feelings will be drained out of their power, energy, and the vessel in his hand. He is the God for all these things. He is the God for punishing people with the ego. Please understand that Lord Bhairava is very furious with not common people, but with the people who apply holy ash on the forehead, who are wearing the beads and committing crimes. So Lord Bhairava, see, Lord Shiva's rule is people with holy ash and the Urdraksham, the holy bead, they cannot be punished by Yaman, but other gods. Other gods, godly people, they cannot punish them. These people who are praying Lord Shiva, who are offering prayers, but they will do some crimes or mistakes, they will be punished only by Bhairavar. You understand? Not by Yaman. That is why he is holding a rope in his left hand. Another left hand is holding a rope. One left hand is holding a vessel. As a matter of fact, it is not a vessel. It is the skull of Brahma. It is the skull of Brahma. Brahma Kabalam. I just decently calling it as vessel. Okay, Brahma Kabalam. The corresponding right hand is holding the small drum called Udukai. The corresponding right hand is holding that Udukai. You understand? He is just wearing a garland of skulls. The skulls means ex Thirumal, ex Brahma. Though their skulls he was wearing, so that he makes the people who are at present holding the post, at present Thirumal, at present Brahma, who are at present holding the post, they should understand that there were some our ancestors as Thirumal, as Brahman, and they all went away and they all gone, and their skulls have been worn by our Bhairavar as a garland. Understand? It's called Talai Malai. You understand? So Bhairavar is very keen in punishing people who accept Lord Shiva as their God, and some people who may not accept Lord Shiva as their God, but they will wear all these holy ash and other details to just cheat the world, just to cheat the other people. They will be pretending as if they are adiyars, as if they are bhaktas. They will be holding all these symbols, and how these people can be punished? Only by Bhairava. Bhairava with his sulam in his right hand, with his sulam, that's a spear like thing, he will just take the people in the Sulam and he will be holding them high for a very long period, and they will be bleeding like anything, and it will be very painful for them, and until the time they understand and they realize and come to a decision that they will not do this mistake in future. Such a realization should be reached by them. Till that time he will be holding them on top of his Sulam, that is fear. So to make them understand, another story about this also there, about this is although there in Puranam, and our Tirumular has also explained this as Bhairavar. There is one demon called Andhakasuran. That Andhakasuran, he was doing a lot of this called Tavam, Tavam. That is always thinking about God, taking nothing and never contacting any people, going to a forest, sitting there, not caring about food or water, sitting and chanting the mantra for long periods without break. And the God will appear before him and give him some boons. Likewise, this demon, he was also doing this, and he was offered so many boons by Lord Siva. Once he became powerful, he started giving trouble to others, especially the gods, small gods, Sirudevargal, Sirudevangal, small gods. They were tortured by him. They were running away from him, and he was following them. He was driving them to nuts, and they came to a stage. There was a stage. All the small godly people, gods, they ran into Kailayam and into the Nandavanam, and they took the disguise of a lady or a woman. So they protected themselves likewise. They prayed for Lord Shiva to protect them. Then Lord Shiva asked Bhairava to go and settle the matter. Bhairava came over there and took that fellow, that Andhakasuran. Karuthurai Andhagan Danbol Asuran. வரத்தின் உலகத்து உயிர்களை எல்லாம் வருத்தம் செய்தான் என்று வானவர் வேண்ட குருத்துயர் சூலம் கை கொண்டு கொன்றானே. That's how Tirumular explains. So Bhairava killed him not by sudden attack, or immediately he didn't kill him. He took him in the spear, that is Srulam, Trisulam. He was there on top of it, slowly dying, bleeding, and feeling the pain. That's how Bhairava will punish. Why this fellow was punished by Bhairava? Because this fellow got some wounds by making some sincere, deep prayers before Lord Shiva. So others cannot come and punish him. Only Lord Shiva can punish him, but Shiva directly don't come and punish. So instead, he nominated Lord Bhairava, who is nobody than Lord Shiva, nominated Lord Bhairava to go and punish him. That's how he came over and punished. Why I am insisting this? Because Lord Bhairava is very keen and is nominated only for punishing the people with the sacred ash, that is people in Saivam, if they do mistakes, and people who got special these prayers, special pujas, And if they commit mistakes, then others cannot approach and punish them. The only God punish them is Lord Bhairava. Bhairava is especially, exclusively is there for punishing people who are in the high side and who are already praying or offering or performing pujas, and if they commit mistakes, and they are punishable by Lord Bhairava. Okay, as far as the Puranam goes, like the Puranam goes, we have to take the stories in this sense. But really, what does it mean? Means Bhairavar will knock away, will null away our ignorance. So whenever we go and surrender before him, whenever we go and offer our egoism, our eyes and mice, if we go and offer him, he removes the ego out of us and saves us from the anavam and makes us to get the bliss of Lord Shiva. So whenever you go to Lord Shiva temple, never miss to worship Lord Bhairava. You need not search very much. It will be very near to the main deity, and you will be there with a special decoration, and you can go over to him and offer your prayers, requesting him to remove the ego out of us, so that our prayers to Lord Shiva is pure and sincere. If you go and pray before Lord Shiva with impurity of anavam, your prayer may not reach him at all. So if you want your prayers to reach Lord Shiva, the complete surrender, which denotes that you are null of ego, unless otherwise you drive away your ego, your prayers cannot be accepted by Lord Shiva. That's how Saiva Neri, or the way of Saivam, teaches us. You understand? So kindly understand, Lord Bhairava is a special deity, is a special form to kill away, to remove our ego. And he also makes us pure. That is why whenever we go and submit our accounts, for example the temple accounts, the transactions, all of them are to be surrendered at his feet and should be summoned to excuse if there are some mistakes, and pardon us and guide us in a proper way, so that we will be flawless and fit enough to receive the grace of and the bliss of Lord Shiva. So it is a very important image. The rope in his hand, as I already told you, this special form is also another denotion. That is, if you pray the Bhairava, Lord Bhairava, you will be out of the fear of Lord Yama. Yama Bhayam illamal irukka, because he is the god of time. So Yaman comes under his jurisdiction. So Yaman cannot come and make you afraid, make you fear without his knowledge. So if you offer prayers for Lord Bhairava, then you will be out of this fear of death. See, death is not painful. The fear of death is very, very painful. So we should not have the fear of death till our last day. Never fear about the death. We know it will come one day or other. It is there. It has been fixed. It is waiting for us. We are just moving towards it. You understand that we always move towards its destination. It very well knows that I need not go, he will come to me. So that's why the final date is waiting for us. We know very well. Then why should we be afraid of it? By the fear of it, or by the way we are going to be afraid of it, is it going to be removed or posted somewhere else, or is it going to be removed, or is going to be moved to another point? No, not at all. It cannot be moved. It is posted there and it will be there till we reach that spot. It will be there to greet us. So don't be afraid of it. So to remove the fear of death, is it not? The fear of death is very, very, very cruel. So to remove the fear of death, let's go and surrender at the lotus feet of Lord Bhairava. So that is the another thing that we must understand about the prayer of Lord Bhairava. With this, I am just concluding this session of Lord Bhairava. So in the next session, we will go to another form of Lord Siva, and we must be delighted to know the facts about these deities. And when we make prayer before these deities, and when we perform pujas for these deities, we must know the real meaning or real logic or real concept behind these prayers, behind these pujas, and understanding and realizing those facts. If we offer prayer, it will be meaningful and it will be result yielding. So I request our people to understand and make a sincere prayer before any deity. Every deity has its own meaning and logic and concept. We must understand them and we must make our prayers meaningful and result yielding. With that, I am just concluding this session, and with the 5-lettered mantra, I will be chanting 5 times. Kindly follow me. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Tiruchittambalam. I have to thank our Qatar couple, Mrs. and Mr. Saravanan, who are the people behind this show, because they are very much interested and they are very keen to sponsor this program in English, so that in future more people who are not well versed with Tamil will be able to understand the basic principles and logics in Saivism. Especially when we go to temple, we may understand why this statue is installed here, what does it indicate, what is the meaning out of it. All these things can be made known to those people. So only with this idea, bearing in mind, our Qatar couple have arranged these nice sessions, and in the next session also we are going to meet. In the meantime, I request all of you to subscribe for Gnanathirali, a monthly magazine in Tamil, giving out the important concepts of Saivism. Slowly you can get details out of it, slowly by reading it and by circulating it, and by introducing it to others, you may render your service for Saivam. With this, I am just concluding this session, and we will meet in the next session on 21st of this month. Thank you. Tiruchittambalam. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோஹரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.